All right, welcome to the Muscle Maturity Podcast, episode number 94. I am here with 1983 Mr. Olympia, Samir Bannout, and Marcus Guerrero from Old School Labs, and I am John Hansen. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hi, John. How are you guys?
I'm good, man.
Nice to see you.
I'm
All
a
good.
quick question. How do y'all feel about fasting? Just real quick. I just wanted because I'm doing like fasting right now, and I know it doesn't really go, it's not the best thing for bodybuilding, but just how do y'all feel about it? Whether it's intermittent or like a water fast?
I've tried intermittent fasting. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I just don't like going a long time without eating. And
yeah.
I think you can lose weight, just by eating the right calories. And I think it's better for muscle growth and for maintaining or retaining your muscle if you're eating the nutrients and, eating the protein. And when you do that intermittent fasting, I think they're only getting like 2 meals in a day or maybe 3, but you just got to go. The whole idea of it is you're going a long time without eating, so it releases more growth hormone because blood sugar level goes down, your growth hormone level goes up. But, if you're eating all the time, then your blood sugar level is more stable. But that doesn't mean, you can lose weight just by adjusting your calorie content. You don't have to starve yourself and not eat, I don't think.
Yeah, man. Fasting is, if you want to look at it from the healthy perspective, it's probably healthy for you. It's really healthy. But when it comes to bodybuilding and you want that more gnarly muscular density, that wouldn't work for me either. Like John said, bodybuilder is one thing and doing things for health is another thing.
Yeah.
But
Fasting
you
is
can do both.
Yeah.
I think fasting is healthy. It's healthy, but is it suitable for bodybuilder? I don't think so.
Yeah. That's my parents are really into it right now, and they like my mother. She's just going crazy with it. Like she'll go and do she sees all the videos and is doing 8-9 day fast, like water fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, and it's great for health, for health. And she's not a bodybuilder, but in the sense of bodybuilding, that's my issue. Is I try to do a gym, a workout, and I'm like, ugh, I can go to the gym fasted and feel decent. But days without eat, it's like, oh man, I feel like I'm gonna pass out every time I get down and get back up. I feel lightheaded and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got no sugar in it. Yeah.
It takes time to adapt to that, but it is actually healthy. It's good for mom and your dad and for anyone who isn't really lifting. Yeah, it's probably very good to fight diseases and to clean up the system. And, it's really, really good. It's a major cleanser.
Yeah.
And you can defeat cancer by starving it if you fast the right way.
Yeah.
But we're talking bodybuilding here in general. And, personally, I haven't tried it when it comes to bodybuilding. But I have tried it a couple of times just to drop. And I wasn't into competition during that time. It's good. But if, you want to feel good, but you won't look as good. That's the whole thing about it, So.
Well, I just saw that movie, Magazine Dream, which is about a bodybuilder. This was released today, so I went and saw it.
How was it? With what's his name?
Mike O'Hearn.
No, but the main actor.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. Yeah, from Creed. I remember he was in Creed.
Yeah, he was in Creed 3.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Well,
you like the movie?
It's about there's Breon Ansley. He was in it too. In it one scene. It's about a guy who's very mentally disturbed. He's really messed up, he's psychotic and he wants to be a bodybuilder. So it kind of bodybuilding look bad because he's like a psycho, and he wants to be a bodybuilder. So I thought the movie was kind of disturbing, kind of like the Joker, like Joaquin Phoenix. But the guy's performance, he's an amazing actor. Yeah. Well, this movie was actually supposed to come out 2 years ago, and he got into a domestic dispute. Yeah. His girlfriend, I think it was his girlfriend, accused him of beating her up or strangling her or something. So then, because of the bad publicity, the studio dropped the movie. And I don't know how it got resolved, but now it got released. Now it's released again, but it's 2 years later. Yeah. And the guy that he idolizes is a character played by Mike O'Hearn. And I couldn't really tell what year the movie's supposed to be because there's magazines out. Well, the magazines have been gone for a while. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but he's also on the internet because he's making movies for his YouTube channel, and that's disturbing because he's so messed up. He's like filming himself and he's like, people are like making fun of him. So the internet's around, but magazines are still around. And then he's writing letters to Michael Hearn's character. Like, he's not emailing him. He's not messaging him, writing him up, So I couldn't tell, like, the movie is like, what is it, the 90s or is it 2010 or 2015? I couldn't figure out what it was, but.
Sounds like he's just a crazy person. Right? Pen pals and
so
YouTube.
They show a bodybuilding contest, and Breon Ansley is in the scene. I saw Danny Hester, and cool. What's the men's physique? I think he won the Olympia. Brandon Hendrickson.
Brandon Hendrickson, three-time Olympia.
He plays a competitor too, so
cool.
They're on the lineup with him, so they're in a scene.
Who produced that movie, John?
Huh?
Who produced it?
I don't know. The director's name I never heard of before. It's kind of a smaller movie. But
I know it was like 2 years ago. They did it on the Sundance Festival. When they like premiere indie, and it got like great like reviews. But I think because of everything that you're talking about, like I know even Marvel dropped him from like because he was in the little Marvel universe. So I'm happy that they released it now because I want to see it badly. And the way you're talking about it, like comparing it to like the Joaquin Phoenix's like Joker, which I thought was like immaculate. Like if it's that kind of disturbing, whatever that I feel like in bodybuilding, so many people, it's kind of whatever, but you could relate a little bit. You know what I mean?
I didn't like the ending. The ending really didn't go anywhere. They didn't really resolve it. But I think just his performance alone, it'll be interesting to see if he gets nominated for an Academy Award. Because I remember when it was released 2 years ago, like you said, Marcus, at Sundance. I read a lot of those reviews, and some of the critics liked the movie, some didn't like it, but everybody praised this guy's performance, like saying he's probably going to win the Academy Award. I mean, he's really a good actor. He can play really like very disturbing people.
Yeah.
So
I even thought he did great in Creed. Like it was weird because they were like trying to make him the antagonist, and I'm like, he does not come across as the antagonist, even with the dirty boxing and all that. It's like. He just doesn't seem like the antagonist to me. Like Michael B. Jordan felt like the guy I'm not rooting for in that situation. The dude just did a bid for you, and like, it's just.
Well, there's parts of this movie where you feel sorry for the character because he's just messed up.
Yeah. God, I'm looking forward to watching it now.
The only thing is,
same here.
I'm kind of it's like every movie about bodybuilding, they're always messed up. They're always weirdos. They're always crazy people. They're all on steroids. I've never seen a movie about bodybuilding where they're not on steroids, and it's such a negative image for the sport,
Yeah. It's like remember the wrestler? Again? It's Magazine Dreams. Magazine Dreams.
Magazine
But I feel like kind of like how you're saying with the with bodybuilding, I feel like they did that with the wrestler with Mickey Rourke. They kind of did that same, like you get the inner, you see the backstage, what's happening behind the scenes, and it was a great movie, for what it was, but same thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of magazine, the magazine got me started in the whole bodybuilding thing. It is, for me, the magazines has a lot to do with my dream too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up the magazine, and that's what really took my mind right to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Remember I told you the story?
When I started,
picking up a magazine was Arnold on the cover.
Yeah.
They should have had my version of the story. It probably would have done very good.
Right.
And how my father took my magazine, put him in the oven.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that story? Was he against it? Why did he do that?
Yeah, no. My father is like really into, being successful, be a doctor, be an engineer. And, that's his priority is, school. Be an educated, good, but he was, his style was my way or the highway. My father was very, very strict. It's like an army general, like, do push-up, 100 push-up. And, he's a really good man, but, back the old school way. So when I didn't do good in my class, he got so pissed. If I'm not in the top 3 in my class, my father got really pissed. So he felt like the magazine were in the way.
Yeah.
So one day he just took the magazine, put him in the oven. And I was so angry, man. You wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't do that to Jesse or Sergio, but rest in peace. He was a good man. He was caring, but he just he just wants you to be the best at what you do.
Yeah,
that was a good thing about it. But in the old school way, it was kind of crazy at times.
It reminds me of whenever my brother lived with my brother's, he does music, and we lived with our grandparents at different times. And my grandfather is very old school, like, curse, all that, is completely against it. And so he had his CDs, and he heard my brother's CDs, and just all of them, just threw them out the window of his truck, just frisbeeing them all. So, saying that old school mentality of just, nah, man, we're not getting with the times.
Yeah.
You know what? I went back and bought all the old issue. I went to the warehouse, and my father wouldn't believe it. I said, "Listen, I'm psychotic. If I want something, I gotta have it." I made up my mind. That's it. I'm gonna be the best bodybuilder there is, and I really felt it in my head. I was so passionate, but my father said, "You gotta create balance." So, like one time, my school was only like about 800, 900 yards. And the bell will ring about 8 o'clock. You got to be in class. You got to be standing with all the students to go to class. And then my dad, and the time was 5 minutes before 8, and I'm still at home looking at the magazine. He takes a cup of tea and smash me with a cup of tea. What are you doing? You need to be. And he doesn't know. I run so fast. I'll make it in line with 2 minutes running, sprinting. But, that's how he was, If you're not doing good in your school, he gets so pissed. He was a perfectionist.
Do you think he kind of helped your bodybuilding career a little bit, as far as like that? When you throw someone away from it, you kind of take somebody away from it, they kind of jump and leap towards it.
Yeah. And I tell you what, he's like a perfectionist, man.
Yeah.
If your handwriting wasn't good, he'd get mad at you.
Oh,
what the fuck is this chicken shit?
Yeah,
this is chicken shit. This is not handwriting. Do it right. So he was this kind of guy, If your shoes is not shining, he get pissed off at you. Your hair's too long, go cut your hair. He's like, he wants you to be perfectly to the T.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But honestly, he was a good man. I mean, going back, he was only concerned, my son have to be the best or nothing. That's it. He forced you to be good. Anyway,
I wonder if people John, do you feel like people will like kind of you kind of can feel that a little bit of the craziness when Samir talked about it, right? It kind of took that psychotic, that getting into that brainwave to really do bodybuilding and be at y'all's status. So like, do you feel like bodybuilder-esque individuals with that mentality will watch this and be like, oh, I can relate to this, or is it like too far gone? Or
no, he's not normal. He's really messed up. Yeah, he's not a normal guy at all. Yeah, it's just
what.
I mean, it's just a movie about a disturbed guy. I mean, actually, he could have been anybody. He could have been a bodybuilder. He could have been, he could have done any sport or just been a regular person working a job. But he's just messed up in the head. But he's got this drive. That's why it's called Magazine Dreams. He wants to be on the cover of the magazine. And O'Hearn's character is the one he idolizes. And that's the one he writes letters to. He wants to be just like him.
I got to check it out. I support Mike. I'm going to see what he did there. John, my father used to say, hey, listen. Your uncle can bench press 195 kilograms. He doesn't make fucking money. I mean, how good is he going to do you? But back then, there was no money in bodybuilding,
Right.
You can bench 500 pounds. You don't make money. So, his idea said, be a doctor, be an engineer, be successful. And you could work out, do good.
Yeah.
But then later he changed his mind when I won the universe and Olympia. I said, holy shit. My son was for real. He really meant what he said,
Yeah.
Rest in peace, And he came to America a while back visiting, but he's no longer with us now. He passed away like 7 years ago.
Rest in peace.
At 85. Yeah. It was a good man. Very good man. On scale of 1 to 10, I'll give him a 9.5 because he was caring. That's all.
Yeah.
So I'm sure your parents are very supportive, John. I know.
Yeah.
So we're lucky to have someone that actually back us up and want the best for us. So.
Yeah, they just let me do it, but they didn't understand what bodybuilding was when I started it.
Yeah, I mean, let you be, right?
Yeah. All right.
So what's new in the world of bodybuilding, John?
Well, the big news this week just came out yesterday, I think, or today, was Derek Lunsford saying he might do the Pittsburgh Pro. He made a video implying that he might do it.
You think it's real, or you think he's just doing it for some attention, some clout?
I can't see him doing it because he just won the Arnold.
Yeah.
He's got to rest up for the Olympia, you know.
You know, I would have asked Chris Aceto yesterday, but I know he sent me a video. He's looking really, really good. So I don't know. But I think he would probably guest pose at the show.
Yeah,
that'd be smart. In good condition. Yeah, that's what I would say. Just to be there in the show, be part of the show without being in the competition. I mean, it's doable. It's in Pittsburgh, right? The show is in Pittsburgh Grand Prix?
Yes. Yeah. I think it'll be...
I won that show in 1990, John. I won the Pittsburgh Grand Prix in 1990.
You won that? Oh, yeah, that's right. You did win that show. That's right.
1990, I won that. It was actually promoted. It's a Manian show.
Yeah.
So
we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh show in another week or so, but that's going to be a really big show. It's going to be one of the biggest shows of the year.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be like Arnold.
They got an expo.
You think Derek's going to John, you think Derek is going to compete?
I don't know. I can't see him doing that, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, me neither. I think he should just really let the body rest. You want the Olympia for sure, you know.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Chris sent me a video. I'm like, what the hell? I could not believe. I mean, the legs I looked at was like ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if I should be showing it, but I mean, look at this. Wow, look at this. I don't know. I'm going to show it. Maybe it's a no-no. Look, watch.
Hold a little higher.
Now, wait the cross cut. Watch the cross cut striation. Yeah, you got to see it. There's a striation inside the striation, and I mean, I'm telling you, he's gonna get better.
That's gonna be the thumbnail right there. That's gonna be the.
Oh man! I mean,
Samir's.
No, but when you look at Linda, all along we've been guessing, and every time, John, I did say that Derek is my front horse, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I never said Derek would be in second place. I always felt when Derek is on, he's going to win. And the first photo I saw of Derek in that last show at the Arnold Classic, I said Derek won. Why? Because he is strong in all area and he flows very good. Even though he's like 5'5", he's 5'5", right? 5'5.5" at the most.
Yeah, he's.
I'm tall. I'm taller than him. I'm this much taller than Derek.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I bet you anyway that Derek was close to 240 at that show. For someone, yeah, I would say 238, 240. I wouldn't say more than that. But that's a lots and lots of beef. That the muscle he have is like, for someone is like 6'2", 6'3", you know, and no weaknesses. But yeah. I told Chris we need to do enhanced posing a little bit. He could even be better yet.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then we also discussed, Samson and how good his Samson is. And if he can fine tune, which is you and I have been talking about forever.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that remains to be seen, you know. Marcus, I think, honestly, you look at Samson, the flow he has, he have like classical look. He have that classical looks. Let's hope he can get it a little more striation, separation. And if that's the case, then I won't bet on that show.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like any upcoming show with those front runners that we speak on is going to be, you know, anybody's game. Honestly, they all have the ability, as you're saying. Derek Lunsford's a gift. Samson's a gift. Andrew, we know, is a gift, and of course, what's his name? Hottie comes in. Just, you know, that conditioning is just, you know, gnarly. So
Chris think Andrew's going to be a huge surprise this year. Chris told me that Andrew's going to be better than ever this coming show. But again, Andrew's also his main weakness is like he doesn't stand on the stage properly. You got to believe me, the way you present your body. Now, we probably later will touch on Nick Walker, who have tons of muscle. And I think with the professional mastery in posing, if you take him to Zane, I would say if you bring him to me, and I would show him how to look good in every pose, but they have to do certain twists where he can make the body rhyme better. And this is one thing these guys are not believing me. anyhow. So, I mean, speaking of that, I was listening to, I don't know if I'm going to jump into another topic with
go ahead.
Bob Chicarello and Sean Ray talking. I mean, I'm going to ask you, what do you think of that, John? That Bob Chicarello statement that he's not going to be in eighth place. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think Nick's going to be eighth. I mean, but they were going back and forth. I mean, well, what happened was Bob was on Jay Cutler's podcast, and I think they asked Bob about Nick and how he's going to place, and he said he doesn't think Nick's going to ever win the Olympia. I think that's what he said. He'll never win the Olympia. So then Nick was on Fuad's podcast, and then Fuad asked Nick about that, and he goes, "Well, who the hell is Bob Chicarello?" He goes, "Yeah, is he ever won
the hell? What the fuck?"
He said something that was so slick. It was I think somebody asked him a question, and it was what if you can go back in time, what Olympia would you compete in? And he said the one that Bob competed in. And he was like, "Oh wait," it's like, "Oh shoot, it's getting spicy."
So then Bob got mad, and he goes, "Well, who's Bob?" He goes, "I'm the one who's going to announce you in the 8th place at the Olympia."
So catty.
Come on, man. Come on, Bob. Yeah, Bob, lighten up a little bit. Hey, you the athlete representative. Come on, Bob.
He said he's not.
Give him a little love. Come on, But, I mean, let's put it this way, John. Nick Walker is not blessed with the most awesome curvy genetic. But I'm going to say it like it is. Nick Walker, that muscle mass he have, and he really bring in hard, shredded hardness, and his body is great. I think he would, he need to apply a little more art in his positioning. Believe me, that will change everyone's opinion about whether he would be in the top 3 or, I think he can be front runner for sure, always. The posing is a big part of it. And when I say about posing, maybe some people out there would laugh. They would think somebody's talking about posing. No. I'm not just saying pose and do this. And you got to find the way how to make the body flow and hide some of the weakness and create line. And if Nick does that, believe me, it will enhance his chances by far. He will do really much better.
So when you say front runner, where do you think Nick could place at the Olympia?
Front runner, I think with his muscle mass, with his muscle quality, he could always be in the winner's circle. And all depend on who else is going.
Top 3, top 5?
Top 5. He'll be in the top 5. I really believe that.
Okay.
But again, those adjustments needed. If he continued to go and pose the way he is posing, honestly, it's not going to be as easy for him.
What do you think, Marcus? Where do you think Nick will place?
Definitely don't think 8th. I think he'll be first call out. He's a shoe-in for first call out. It'll always be there for him, I feel. Unless guys. Yeah, 1,000%. I do agree with Samir that, there's going to have to be some things. I mean, we saw Martin, Fitzwater, and him go back and forth, at the New York Pro. And it was, even though I feel like Nick Walker won it easily, it was only by 1 point. So to me, we see the growth in Martin, and Martin just got 4th. And, so when we look at it like that, hey, he could place as low as 6th, but I do not think he's going to. I think he could be a top 4, hopefully, and even better.
Marcus, look at the beef Nick Walker have tons of beef. The arm, the mass 100%. He have, and he doesn't bring it. He's not soft. He comes in hard. And it tweaking a little bit this and that. And when I say it, not every average Joe is going to understand how I look at it from which perspective. Okay, we remember, everyone know who Serge Nubret, rest in peace. Serge Nubret, he knew how to aim and shoot. Every time I use this language of aim and shoot, you have to understand how to twist it away where you could make yourself look better and hide the weaknesses. Everybody have weaknesses. Everybody. And some people are more blessed. You look at guys like Derek, Samson. These guys are blessed. No matter how they stand up. But he would have to do, Nick Walker have to do similar stuff like Serge did, where you have to twist when you do is a free posing and do certain poses to make him look more elegant. And besides, he gets super shredded. He's gonna make the winner circle. I really think he could. I wouldn't put him like as someone like just anybody. He's good.
I feel like your quote was when I shoot straight towards Lee Haney. I remember in the gym when you're doing the pec deck. I remember that quote. When I shoot my gun, I shoot straight.
I just said that about my conditioning. So when my conditions are spot on, I'm gonna really kick some ass. But in Nick Walker's situation there, he's got the muscularity, the beef, and he's really not missing anything. Just look at it. He's not missing muscle. He just needs to be able. No, I mean, shoulders, arm, chest, incredible back. The guy is good. He have no obvious weaknesses. What's his weaknesses? Is slightly he could have little bit smaller hip and tinier waist, but with the proper way of showing it, that could be much better. That could make a huge difference. Yes, it could.
Well, I think people are doubting him now because he missed the last two Olympias. So
he was injured. I mean, he can't.
Well, he was injured in the one, but the last one he just dropped out.
Well, we don't know exactly what happened. I mean, he dropped up with his coach, and he was not. I mean, come on, put yourself in his shoes. If you don't have the total mental clarity and you really focus on being happy in the environment you're doing, you can't do good. Bodybuilding, you got to be happy. You got to have good environment. You don't have any issue here or there.
I'm not saying it was the wrong thing to do, but it's just I think that's why people haven't seen him. I mean, if you go back 3 years ago when Hadi won, he was third. He was in top three.
Yeah, but he's young, John. He's young. He's
yeah, I know. I mean, Walker's what? Himself, and it's like, what have you done for me lately? That's how people think. And
he will.
Sadly,
I guarantee
we're
you.
in that microwave era.
He's gonna come in shredded, and he's gonna come in ready, and he's gonna tell, "Hey, Bob, you're not gonna give me 8th place. You're gonna be in the top. I'm gonna be in the top 5 for sure."
Yeah.
John, where do you think he could place? Like, because I know you asked us that. Where do you think he could place? Like, where do you see his ceiling?
I think top 5 if he comes in as best.
He could go as high as 3rd. He could.
Yeah.
Because his conditioning.
Yeah. I mean, I would think right now, 6 months out, I think the top 4 look like Derek, Samson,
it's very hard.
Andrew, and Hadi. I mean, those guys look like the top 4.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all know these are the top 4 horses.
But Nick is super thick, and if he comes in like he used to come in, like super rock hard,
he could. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, and he looks. He could. He looks big now.
That's why I said to Bob, give him a little slack. Come on, man. He works so hard. He proven himself. He won some show.
If you have a bad contest or you're off for a while, people start to doubt you. Look how many people were doubting Derek after taking third. Everybody 100%. Was doubting him. And then he came back in unbelievable shape, and now everybody's on his bandwagon again.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine. Okay, look what a shocker for Derek to come in 4th last year.
Yeah.
He came in 4th.
Third.
Sorry.
Yeah, Martin got 4th. 3rd.
Yes. And then, of course. But he made the necessary adjustment, and look at Derek. Boom. He kicked everybody's ass. Yeah. So I don't see why, don't write Nick Walker off. I mean, when he's in top condition, let's see what he does. Then you can judge.
What I like about Nick is his confidence. He's always very confident.
Yeah, he is.
That goes a long way.
Yep.
And I feel like that goes such a long way.
He usually brings it. He's had a bad couple of times at the Olympia where he had to drop out, but he usually brings it. And he's confident. He's confident in his ability to bring it.
I mean, I feel like since 2021, we've only seen him quote off once, and that was like the New York Pro, where he was going up against Martin. You know what I mean? And he still won that show, and that was an off Nick. So I feel like it's it is easy to jump right back on that bandwagon. I feel like sometimes you think of it like boxing. Styles make fights, and he has a unique style coming in against the people like a Samson and Andrew, who you can group them together a little bit. Derek and Hadi, you can group them, and I feel like he's right there in there to where it's just if he's not placing, if he's either placing 6th or 3rd or 1st. Crazy enough to say 1st, but I'm not going to doubt any of these guys. But he has the physique to do that because I feel like he's right in the middle of all of them. He has the size. Some of them have better structure, But I mean, when you put him up against, and the big thing is the conditioning that he brings. He brings great conditioning.
And then
what about
when
Nick
I talk
Martin this year, who do you think is going to win?
I can't wait to see that. I can't.
I think
that's
Martin
probably the toughest one.
Martin is like stepping on the pedal. He's like flying 500 miles an hour. So, I know Martin is passionate, but you know what? And then, Nick have the eye of the tiger. He wants to come at his best. So, when it comes to a lot of beef, and both they're going to come in condition. But let's see. Sometimes when I tell people about posing, and I'm not talking about posing where you go like this and do this shit. I'm not saying that at all. This is not posing. Posing is how you stand properly in the lineup and aim and know exactly what to show. And when you do it from the side, from the front, and you're free posing, you have to be able to look good in every single pose. And then you could do transition and be as professional as possible. And you could actually do it without showing any weaknesses. You could. But that requires mastery. And if I was Nick Walker, you don't need to come to me. Go to Zane. Zane will be able to show you how to do those twists and turns. Don't go to just anyone. I know a lot of people claim they're a good poser. People don't understand. When I say good posing, it's not like doing the posing routine and do this and do that. No. It's do every single position on the body. You got to make it flow and show it look perfect from the front double bicep, from the side. You got people, let's say, do this like that, but that's not right. You got to do it right. Keep your waist tight. It look good from all angle. And then move forward and do the transition. Nick Walker need to go to a total master, not any of those guys on Instagram. Only 0.1% may be capable, maybe. But you got to go to a heavy experience,
One thing I will say in favor of Nick in this sense is we don't really see him, get weak as far as like when the posing goes on for 3 rounds. We don't really see him fall off too heavy. So I feel like he is doing decent in that sense, where a lot of you see this really heavy in shows. I think even Steve has said certain things like, during that 3rd round, we're seeing who's going to fall off. It's so close that we're trying to see who's going to end up, kind of what we see happen to Samson sometimes. We saw it happen to Martin Fitzwater too at one of his most recent shows, to where all of a sudden we see him start to look a little shaky on stage. So I think that's where Nick has an upper hand. But when I look at those guys in general, I feel like the trajectory is really good for Martin right now. I mean, I just saw a picture of him put on I think he was 20 pounds higher from like being 2 weeks out or however many weeks out from the Detroit Pro, like last year compared to now. And it was like a 20-pound difference. So that's astronomical right there.
Do you think Martin's going to beat Nick?
I don't want to pussy away from like saying things, but I don't want to put my money against Nick.
Talking about physique and flows, Martin is really making tons of improvement, and I think Martin have the edge right now. Why? Yeah. Because Nick beat him a couple years back, but right now, 2 years later, and Nick hasn't shown anything in the past couple years, so we need a finished product of Nick. We know Martin has come a long way, and I know he's dangerous. He beat Bumstead and he beat a lot of people, and I know that Martin is going to be more than ready this year. He doesn't want to be in 4th place in Olympia. He wants to win the Olympia in his head. Okay, so I mean he's gonna clash with he's gonna clash with Nick, and I think it's gonna be. I think right now Martin definitely have the advantage. Right now, because we don't know what Nick is going to bring to the table yet. So
I'm picking Nick.
I'm happy you did that, John. I am. I'm happy you did that. Why'd you do that? Please tell me. I want you to get.
I mean, look at these pictures here. If we look at this front double bi, I mean, I didn't realize. I think Martin's like biceps are kind of weak.
Yeah, especially compared to Nick. I mean,
if you want to compare every body part to body part,
they're both in shape.
I mean, listen, Nick is going to win in many body part. So that's not how you judge bodybuilding. You're going to judge the overall flows and the quality and the way how you present it. So, I mean, who's going to beat Nick in the arms department?
Symmetry. better flow, symmetry. But I think, if they're both coming in rock hard condition, I think Nick's got more thickness.
Yeah.
And if he comes in as hard as he used to come in, I think he'll beat Martin again.
And it's funny that you say that because I always thought you were going to go the other route. I don't know why, just going off of like what you said in the past. I would have bet you would have thought Martin. So that's cool.
I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet on it until I see the new Nick Walker, because like I said, I like both of them, but then who is going to come in?
Look at him now at 12 weeks out. I mean, that's pretty good.
But look at the arms. Look at their mass. I mean, he's got tons of mass.
Look at his conditioning for 12 weeks out. He's going to be hard as a rock, I think, by the time they go.
The biggest thing is going to be that on stage, coating, like keeping the core tight and just not showing any weaknesses. I think
Nick's done that before.
Yeah. So I feel like,
Yeah, I mean, they both have.
Martin's already qualified. You don't have to win.
Right. For you're talking about the Olympia.
Yeah, because he won that Prague show. So
but I think also don't forget that Nick right now, we want to prove Bob Cioccarello's wrong, and he's really training to prove the world that Bob Cioccarello is wrong.
Yeah,
right.
And that's another reason to bet on him.
Sean Ray is also on the. Sean Ray also is on Bob's side. You know. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I mean, listen, I mean, I would go back to Sean Ray talking about Chris Aceto and, Derek probably. Derek would do very well by changing coach. And you know what? Personally, I knew it right away, right off the bat, that if Derek going to go to Chris Aceto, and I know Derek is going to be better than ever.
You know what Sean Ray's nickname for Nick Walker is?
What?
Is it
Nick
Fridge?
Talker.
Oh, Nick Talker.
Come on, dude. No, when we all like driven, motivated, we could say things, we always say things, but, Walker is not a talker, and I bet you he is going to be.
Well, I hope it pisses Nick off and he gets even more.
Yeah. It's funny that Sean Ray is the one to say that. Like the nickname anybody talker is wild from coming from Sean Ray.
Just don't get on Sean Ray's bad side. He's gonna be like that. This is Sean. I know Sean. You can't argue with Sean. Remember we were talking about Arnold at the Mr. Olympia 1980? Yeah, he wasn't there. I was there. Right. He tried to convince this guy. He said, No, Arnold. I said, where were you? You were at home in your bed snoring. And I was in Australia and I saw everything. He will argue with me and I'm wrong. No, he's right. You can't win with Sean.
Right.
But I love him anyway. I mean, I get along with Sean. Not everybody does, but I do.
Yeah, I do too.
So, yeah.
Well, let's, I guess we could talk about the Detroit Pro because that's coming up next week.
A lot of heavy hitters in that one.
Yeah, so this is promoted by Fuad. It's the second year, I think, doing it. Right? Second or third. Maybe it's his third.
I think the second with the men's open, if I'm not mistaken, like as far as like having men's open.
Yeah.
So who is in the Detroit show 100% committing?
I don't know. Do we have a list, Scott?
I know they got Bonac, Carlos Thomas Jr.
Okay. Carlos Thomas Jr. is going. Okay, so hopefully he'll be in better shape than he was at the Arnold.
Yeah, James Hollingshead, he's doing it. I believe Good Vito is doing it, and
Good
a lot of people. If I'm not, hopefully, because I see him all over the their little flyers and stuff.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm not wrong on Good Vito because I feel like he would be the one to make the show really interesting. I might be talking out of term on that one, but
I tell you, and I'm not bullshitting you because I don't know, what's his name, Good Vito. I don't know him. I never saw him, but looking at his genetic and looking at his complete body, this guy could win.
Yeah,
he could win, but he need to be in the hand of masterful person. If he does it on his own, like he did a couple years back, these people really didn't know exactly how he should perform. The guy at one time fell off the stage, hurt himself, but the guy have the body, I swear, very balanced body and massive. I mean, he could be in the winner's circle like that easily.
So
I know he's competing in the Pittsburgh Pro. I don't know if he's going to do the Detroit though. Good Vito.
What do you think, John?
I think if he's in it, I think, he's got to be a front runner. Him and Bonac, I would think.
Yeah.
I think he's way bigger than Bonac, and Bonac is really fighting the quality game right now, and he's doing good. But I think back like three years ago when Bonac was more massive and shredded, I kind of like that look on him a little bit more. You know, I think he dropped quite a bit of mass. He looked good
at the Arnold, though. I mean, he's getting older and stuff, but he looked good at the Arnold.
What place did he come in at the Arnold?
Fifth. He was fifth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's proven, and he knows his body. So let's see, good Vito, if he comes in shredded and present himself in a professional way. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I think this kid is good.
And I think the classic physique division is really good too. There's a lot of good guys in that one also.
Oh, I think like Matt Grego, Wesley, if they still have that, yeah. It's gonna be a good show.
Another guy, love his body. He's got a very pretty physique.
Yeah, very high ceiling for classic.
Do you have the list of that, Scott? Do we have that on the website? I think they had a couple confirmed people.
Yeah, I was still trying to see if Good Vito's in it. I don't see him. I know I saw him in Pittsburgh, which obviously that's in a couple months or month or so away. But as far as Detroit goes, I feel like as far as who we know,
so Wesley's on it. That's interesting.
Hey, Sean, what do you think of Wesley's body?
I kind of like it. I mean, he's got kind of that Arnold look. A lot of people criticize his legs, but I don't think his legs are bad. I think he's got longer legs.
But, what I don't like? You know what I don't like about his body, and I think it's hurting him.
His rib cage.
If you look at his rib cage, the way it's shaped, and there's a big void from the upper rib cage to his oblique. He's got a long distance in between the two.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think that would leave his lat somewhat short. This area is hurting him. I mean, you look at the guy, he's shredded in the shoulders and the arm. He looks really good. He showed his body on Instagram and very impressive. But when you take the shirt off, there is something that take my eyes to the middle right there from his rib cage to his oblique. There's something I don't think something is not right there,
Yeah, I agree with you. He does have a weird rib cage.
It's really strange looking, buddy, and it's actually it's not very common.
Most rib cages go like this, and his goes like straight across.
Yeah, I think this is really hurting him. I mean, when you take that shirt off,
I mean, he can't do anything about it, but
yeah.
Well, no, he can't, but it's affecting him, man. Believe it or not, it is affecting him. I mean, when you look at
win the Arnold last year, though.
Look at the guy next to him when he hit the double biceps. How the rib cage is different.
Yeah.
Once he started doing poses like that, he looked very impressive. But from the front, his torso is kind of look. You see how that rib cage and the lat on that guy on the right?
Weird look.
Definitely works against him.
Yeah.
It's kind of hurting him a little bit. So
yeah.
In my opinion, every time I look at his body, when I see individual body part, it looks great. But when he take his shirt off, look at his shoulder and arm, amazing.
Yeah,
his quality is amazing. But I see a void area. Like you don't see that in Mike Badass.
Yeah.
You don't see that. It's just the rib cage is like shaped differently. And there's a big void from the rib cage all the way to the oblique.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, especially when he gets super shredded and lean out too much, it actually looks worse on him. He's better. He looked better when he's more massive, John.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. When he's fuller and heavier, he looks better because it kind of hides the rib cage, like there.
100%. 100%. Because his lat look fuller now.
Yeah, yeah.
So that fullness is helping him in this region.
Yeah.
So he needs to make sure to find a way to come in more massive and have that rib cage with the lat more fuller. Like in here, this is a good double bicep. It doesn't look bad here.
Mm-mm.
But when he's shredded and it looks something awkward.
He looked way off at the Arnold. I heard he was sick, and he looked like it because he looked like he lost. He wasn't just not smooth. He wasn't just not conditioned enough.
Yeah.
He looked like he lost muscle.
Yeah. It was an off look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you compare it to the conditioning he had last Arnold. It was a night and day difference.
But last Arnold, he was big too, and he was ripped.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He'll always be up there. I mean, I feel like I just think that he is somebody who this similar to how you guys are kind of picking apart certain things. The judges probably do that too, and you have people like Matt Grego who are going to be at the Detroit Pro who have like that beautiful classic physique look.
Yeah,
to where all it takes is for him to be on, and he'll place in front of Wesley, which
well,
sucks.
it's just a shame. It's a shame for Wesley because for years he was like trying to make the top, and he couldn't even make top 5 at the Olympia for years, and then he wins the Arnold. And he beat Ramon, and he beat
Urs, yeah.
And then he was trying to take that momentum into the Olympia, and he didn't do well at the Olympia, and all those guys beat him. I think he took 8th at the Olympia. So then he had trying to, prove himself at the Arnold, and then he gets sick, and he like places really low at the Arnold. So he's really good. I heard he's going to take a year off, so this must be his last show. And he's going to take a year off.
John, I think Matt Grego can be a bigger Samir if he does his work right. I really like his physique. Yeah. I like his shape. I think he could be unbeatable if he does one good year of prep and come in super etched. I mean, when I talk about super etched, I mean, who was the most ripped at the Olympia this year, John?
Logan.
Logan.
At the Arnold.
I'm sorry. Yeah, at the Arnold. I think right now, the quality that Logan Franklin brought to the Arnold Classic, I haven't seen that quality for a long time. Seriously. I wasn't there. Jean was there. And then when you have a guy like Matt Grego with a beautiful balance, I mean, he put on like 7-8 pound more muscle and come in with that quality, he will be untouchable. This kid is so good. Matt Grego is very good. He's on my good list.
He's got to be the favorite for this Detroit show.
Yeah.
I think I like his body much more than, several. I don't want to say, like Wesley, he looks great in one area and body part to body part. But looking at the entire pictures, I think Matt Grego is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you prefer his body over like Mike Sommerfeld?
Honestly, yes. Sommerfeld, I think his arm could be a little bit bigger. I think Mike Sommerfeld is probably doing it too fast. I notice when people try to gain so quick, they get those unhealthy looking veins in this area. If you look at it, John, most of the guys that gain so quickly and change over the year, they develop those kind of weird looking vein. And I call them an unhealthy vein. Grego, look at this guy. He's doing it 1 year after another. He's gaining. I saw him at the New York Pro, and I was very impressed. And if he continued to gain a little bit more on his frame and get hard, like the quality of Logan, he will just probably kick ass all over the place.
Yeah.
I like his body a lot. Beautiful flow. What do you think, John? What is he missing?
He was really impressive at the Arnold.
Oh, he is. I mean, you can't hide a body like that. He may not look massive in his clothes, but when he takes that shirt off, this guy, you cannot take his eyes off of his that beautiful line.
Yeah.
And look at that. He posed very good. You can tell that he's doing it the right way.
Yeah.
He just needs to get a little bit harder. A little bit more harder.
Are there any other big names, Scott, in the Classic?
I honestly don't know. You guys know more than me. I don't know who's competing, and I only know who's competing in the Olympia and the Arnold Classic.
Those are the only two ones. I thought there was one.
So I would like to see somebody like Hollingshead come into this show and take some steps up, because I feel like we didn't see him at his best at Arnold, even though I feel like he was on the right path. So hopefully we can see Hollingshead come in and maybe be top 3, which would be crazy. Like I said, that's assuming maybe like Good Vito might not be there, but obviously with Bonac, I feel like he could beat Carlos Thomas 1,000%. I think we just saw it at the Arnold, if I'm not mistaken. So I would really like to see. And it sucks that more people aren't hopping into some of these shows, but I get it. As far as I think Hollingshead's like a Fuad guy, so I'd love to see him be up there and really go head to head with a Bonac, so he can really show out, because he has a lot of strong suits to his body. It's just the abdomen area that is sometimes off, or a lot of the times off, honestly, and that's just a genetic issue.
Area is always off.
Yeah,
I never saw him in person. Have you seen him in person, John?
Yeah, I saw him at the Arnold.
Yeah. What's his quality like? Is his really clear skin? That onion skin kind of look.
The thing that hurts
to me,
him,
he has good quality.
Yeah, the thing that hurts him is he just doesn't have that ab separation, and he just looks
Yeah.
smooth as he is.
Yeah, I saw him at Olympia, and it's one of the Olympias where he was sized. He was definitely like downsized. Like it was not. You could tell going into it to prep, something went a little wrong, to where he wasn't like as full as he usually looks by any means. And the quality was crazy. The conditioning was there. It's just the abdomen area a little bit, but I feel like there's hopefully something that could happen with that, because I do think he's somebody who has a lot of the tools necessary to fight for a top spot when it comes to like at this show against a Bonac and things.
He could be wider too, but that's a structural thing. But
it's structure, the
he
shoulders.
He could improve his posing too. His posing.
And John, believe me, the majority missing that clarity, that really, really paper thin skin, in my opinion. And we see a lot of guys that are like big. That look at he looks.
Well, he looks like he's
massive.
in condition. It just doesn't pop out at you.
I'm telling you, John, there's a way to get that paper thin skin, and they're not really getting that onion skin. And I think you'll be unbeatable. A lot of those guys don't understand how to get that paper thin skin.
See what I mean about his abs? His abs just don't.
Yeah. He reminds me of Boyer Cole a little bit, but still his abs better than Boyer, that's for sure. But I still feel
shallow. Like there's no deepness.
You don't see any etching. Yeah.
No.
It's crazy because when he's standing there, he looks super impressive.
Flat area,
Yeah. I mean, look at all look at the detail in the back. That. Yeah. There's so much detail to that back.
The abs are just, you almost look like they're washed out. There's just nothing there.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's truly a genetic, just sadly, not a strong suit when it comes to genetics.
Beside the genetic, Marcus, there is something called the top quality. And the top quality, everybody start looking good when they're 18% quality, 21%. But when you get that 24%, I don't care how you look like, you're going to be outstanding. When you have the great body and get that saran wrap onion skin, you're going to kick ass. And nobody's really getting that paper thin skin. I mean, look at, Derek came in with much thinner skin this year. It was fuller, the legs was more separated, had more mass. And honestly, right away, when I saw the first shot of him, I said he won the Olympia. Because I knew, Samson was lacking in that department. I mean, honestly, I gave Samson probably the best physique, the most beautiful, massive, aesthetic-looking, massive guy. Probably also I gave Samson the best poser award from my perspective, even though that award went to Derek. And, I'm not going to lie or kiss anybody's ass. And as much as I like Derek and I voted for Derek, I'm telling you, man, when Samson, oh my God, when Samson discovered that paper thin issue, and that can be done, believe me, him and his lovely wife have to find a way to discover exactly the onion skins, whatever we call it, way. We just need to get that paper thin skin. I'm telling you, it just make a huge difference.
I feel like that's one thing about the Detroit Pro is the fact that we have Bonac, who really comes in pretty well as of late. Obviously we're seeing aged Bonac, but it's still a great Bonac. Going against people like Carlos Thomas and the James Hollingshead, who haven't had the best conditioning, as far as in comparison, especially Carlos Thomas. Like we saw him pretty off, with like kind of a not the best showing. So I feel like it's his show to lose.
You see, Bonac is coming in with quality. I noticed that. I saw him in the past 2 shows, and he brought some really insane paper thin skin. But then again, the quality alone will not cut it at this Olympia now. If you don't have the beef, the fullness to go with it. If you don't, it's just not going to be a complete package. So he comes in a lot smaller than he used to be. And, come on. I mean, we know Bonac is already older. What's Bonac? Is like almost 42 or 43, Jean?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
he's somewhere around that.
He's in his 40s,
he's doing an incredible job at his age, and seriously,
Yeah.
very impressive. But you and I are used to see that Bonac, that more beefy looking.
Right.
3 to 4 years ago, remember Bonac was like, you go up in the lineup and like what you look at Bonac because he was massive.
Especially in the lat department.
Massive.
Won the Arnold Classic a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at his old photo, at his best, he has so much more density than he have today. Although today he's bringing in more quality, but he lost quite a bit of volume that is actually needed nowadays at the big Olympia.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys are bringing that.
I mean, if you come in shredded and you don't have enough mass standing next to Derek, good luck. You're standing next to Samson, good luck. You know, you may look a little sharper, but what about the body? What about the massless class?
Somebody we saw do that was Brandon Curry. Like Brandon Curry shocked me I know we're jumping around a little bit. We're not Detroit Pro, but like he's somebody talking on like Bonac and being an older gentleman. Curry looked really impressive. So
Curry's
doing the Masters of Olympia.
Say it again.
Yeah,
Brandon Curry's doing the Masters of Olympia.
Yeah. That's going to be pretty cool to see.
Brandon did surprise me, man. I think he really came in looking like the good old days when he was at his best, but the game has changed a little bit. Now you have guys who's more dangerous, like when you have Samson and Derek. So his competition is going to be much tighter than it was a couple years back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think as far as like comebacks, that was one of the best comebacks I've seen in a long time. I mean, even better than Derek. And what I mean by that is because Derek, we expected it. We expected him to be top 2. We expected a great Derek because Derek's great. So seeing how he looked at the last like Olympia, Arnold compared to this one, he really,
Brandon, Mr. Olympia, he won the Olympia, man. Don't forget. Yeah. I mean, the guy is
2019.
Incredible. Yeah. And so, but he did make a huge comeback, and I was very impressed than the last show for sure.
Yeah, I love seeing that. I feel like imagine what it does to their, their mental, to sit there and kind of come short. And it's going to be tough. And I mean, we look on the screen right now, someone like Carlos Thomas, who's still very young, who has those crazy, just the muscles, just, packed on, muscle pound after pound, but yet we see kind of, lacking in that condition department, especially like when we seen at the Arnold, it was not the best looking, Carlos Thomas, I feel. Great size. Back's not as big as we want it to be.
It's a great show for him to do because it's a smaller show.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's enough time after the Arnold where he can come in. If he's kept dieting, he could come in a lot harder for the show.
Yeah, yeah, and he'll be probably in that top 3 as long if the front runners are Bonac, Hollingshead, Carlos Thomas, he'll be top 3 because I don't know who else is really in the show that's very notable. Right. So it'll be a good look, and I feel like anybody can show out at this show and really, they'll be the talk of the town for the next month until the Pittsburgh Pro.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Nothing from my side here. I'm just looking forward to see another good Olympia this year.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Go back to Sass. Go back to the guy who was Scott. If you don't mind, can you go back to? I think his name was Sass in that top 10.
Sass?
Yeah, he looked incredible in that side.
Yeah. I think Sassan. He used to work with Aceto back a few years back. He's a very impressive body. I like you see his quality is really good, and you got that paper thin skin. I mean, I know very well that he was coached by Aceto, and that I totally agree in that concept that Aceto is coaching with. He know how to bring these people that surround rap quality, and so we were talking about that yesterday. I think he's very dangerous. Hopefully, he'll be back to where he was. Sassan, what's his name? Sassan, right?
I think it was Sassan. Yeah.
So look at his body. If you look back, you could see that sharpness. Okay, look at that. It's to have that glass-looking muscle, like I did in '82. That the muscle look hard. Okay, and this is what really separates the man from the boys. I like his body. Let's see what he brings to the table this time.
I mean, he could definitely shake up that top 3.
Yeah, no, I
As
think
far
he's
as looking
very,
at some of
very
these
good.
pictures, especially that the side chest, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he looks good. Hopefully, he will be back to where he was or better. So, if he does bring back his old quality with more improvement, he's dangerous, very dangerous. Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy we have more shows to look forward to in between. You know what I mean? We got to like the next month or two is going to be a lot. And the
Oh yeah.
Pittsburgh, New York. It's going to be a lot to talk
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah.
Let's meet at New York Pro, John. I'm going to go to New York and watch that New York Pro.
What about Pittsburgh? Are you going to go to that one?
Pittsburgh seems more.
Not sure, but definitely going to see the New York Pro. So,
Okay.
if you want to go, let me know. We'll set it up and
Okay.
go and hang out. See Big
Okay.
Steve Weinberger.
Yeah.
Hang out with Steve a little bit. We need to bring Steve to the podcast sometime and ask him a few questions,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Steve will do it. But whenever you guys are ready, would love to bring him on and pick his brain a little bit, see, about what needs to be modified, what not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have some friend asking me, said, why don't you ask Steve or Jim Manion about some of those positioning that can be changed back to the old school way?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be good to ask them these kind
Yeah.
of questions.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Oh, I don't think it's Steve that the one that could make the changes. Maybe Jim Manion is the one that could actually, some of those that don't look classy poses in the judging. You know what I'm talking, John?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for example, judging the body from the side. If you don't show triceps from the side, what the hell are you doing? Basically, these kind of questions.
Yeah.
Let's see what they have to say about it.
I like Steve because I feel like he tells. I agree with a lot of what he says when it comes to like after a show when he critiques a show and talks about who placed where and why. I feel like it's like equivalent to like the Letterman's card in boxing. It's like usually how I would vote that round is how Letterman voted or whoever's doing it nowadays. You know what I mean? But like,
John comes
I feel like
from
he tells it how it is. Steve
John,
and John. No, I can compare it to.
School.
But John too, I actually really dig John's like your presence and your way of thinking on today's bodybuilding. I think that like obviously you have your favorites, but I feel like you don't really shy away from like this is who I like, but this person aside from when it was Bumstead and Martin Fitzwater. But nonetheless, I feel like you have that same mentality to say, hey, you just call it how it is in a good way. Like I agree with it for the most part.
Yeah. There's always way to talk about it, not in a derogatory way, not like not like the way Bob Chicarello said it to Walter. There's a way. There's a way to say it.
Got to be more professional.
Way.
Yeah,
especially when you're the MC of that such a big show like that.
But Bob is passionate. Bob is go back to the old school way too. I mean, I can't say anything bad about neither one, but I would I just as an athlete representative, I would mellow out a little bit. Give Nick Walker a little slack,
Got some grace. Got some grace. I know it took my girl like a minute to like Bob. Like she likes Bob now as far as being an MC, but like she was like, I don't know about this guy. But slowly she got on the Bob train. But
yeah, Bob is cool.
He's a great MC.
Bob is cool too. So anyway,
I want to mention also we lost Red Larrill. Red Larrill died last week.
Oh yeah,
no,
he was Boyer Coe's mentor, and he won the Mr. America back in 1960. So way back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
But he owned he had a gym in Lafayette, Louisiana called Reds.
Okay, I saw this.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but Boyer Coe told me this place is huge. It's like one of the biggest gyms in America. And it's like everybody in Lafayette, Louisiana goes there,
Lived a long life too. That's pretty awesome,
89, I think.
89, yeah.
What about we lost Pat Nevey too, John, yesterday.
Yeah.
Pat Nevey is another great champion.
He died in February, I think.
He died what? Well, not yesterday. Wasn't it a couple of days ago, John?
Well, nobody really mentioned it, but I saw his obituary. It was like February, I think. Late February.
It was a February, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I remember back in the days when I was in Michigan, Don Ross, also, rest in peace, was talking to me about Pat Nevey, and I was also I guest posed in Phoenix, Arizona, was at Pat. Pat was really a great bodybuilding champion. Rest in peace. So yeah, man, we all gotta go. I mean, we have expiration date, John. We can't escape that.
Right.
You can't escape that.
I
Anyway.
interviewed both of those guys on my Bodybuilding Legends podcast, so I'm glad I interviewed Brett a couple of years ago before he passed away.
Did you meet him before, Pat Nevy? Have you met him,
I had
John?
him on my podcast too. I had him on my podcast.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Yeah. He
told some great stories about meeting Arnold and,
Yes. We all post for him. I mean, I really want to wish his family my sincere condolences. His wife, Vicky. They're great people. I, was hanging out with him in Arizona for a while, way back in the days.
He had a great upper body. His arms were incredible.
Oh, his upper body is unbelievable. If he had a little bit better hamstrings and calves, he'd have been like beyond good. His upper body is freaking.
Yeah, look at that arm shot there.
Yeah, that side tricep looks pretty crazy too. And then look at the separation between the bicep and tricep.
He was a real strong bench presser.
Yeah, and look at that, Marcus. Look at that onion skin. He used to come in really striated.
Yeah,
the old school way. You notice anybody from the old school have better look overall in that skin,
Yeah, they didn't have all the drugs they had now.
Yeah,
it's a lot. And even off season, they don't look that bad. So,
right.
Anyway, may he rest in peace.
He told me this story. He met Arnold at Gold, so Jim Morris took him up. I guess he knew Jim Morris.
Yeah,
and Jim Morris said, "Yeah, do you want to meet Arnold?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he took him into Gold's gym. This was like 1973. Right. And Jim Morris warned him. He goes, when you meet Arnold, he goes, it's either going to be, you're either going to want to quit or you're going to be really motivated. One of the two. So he said they walk in the gym. This is Gold's gym, the original Gold's gym. It's not that big of a place, right? Samir, was like kind of small place. Mm-hmm. So they walk in, there's hardly anybody there. And Arnold's on the other side of the gym working out with just shorts on. No shirt, nothing, This is like a couple weeks before the Olympia. So, Jim Morris goes over and he talks to Arnold. He goes, yeah, there's this guy over there who wants to meet you. And he goes, okay. He goes, I'm almost done. So then when he gets done with his workout, he comes walking towards Pat Nevy and his wife. And he goes, every step he took, he got bigger and harder. He was like, by the time he walked up to me, he goes, I was so intimidated. He goes, I couldn't believe how big he was. And then he goes, they walked out of the gym and he tells his wife, he goes, man, I'll never look like that. And his wife was like so supportive. She goes, you look just like that. You're just a little.
Shout out to his wife. That's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Wow, man. That's another story I didn't hear, John.
Yeah, that was a great story.
Yeah. That's one of the good things about like something like your podcast, like the Bodybuilding Legends, because, we wouldn't hear a lot of these stories. And a lot of these people, sometimes they get, we don't, they kind of get thrown into the back burner. And it's like, these are the people who came before us. These are the people who paved the way.
And Red Larill was the last guy to see Bill Pearl alive. He drove out to him and his wife in their 80s, took their motorcycle from Louisiana, and they drove all the way to Oregon to see Bill Pearl before he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
I met all these people, John. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I met Red Larill. I was in Louisiana too.
He promoted the Louisiana Grand Prix, right? Back in the 1980.
Yeah, man. I can't believe it that everybody's disappearing. Every time someone died, Louis called me and said, Samir, did you hear this? I'm like, what? I said, don't worry, Lou. You still got 25, 30 years to go, so relax.
Red was the oldest Mr. America living, but now he's passed. So.
Wow.
Now it's
how
Joe
old was he? Like 90-something, 95?
No, I think it was 88, 89, 88, 89.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he said he was born in 36.
Yeah, I think the oldest one of all bodybuilders was Bill Pearl, was almost 92.
Yeah.
And probably he could have gone for another 5 years the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
Bill is very educated in the health area. I mean, Bill was an intelligent man. He understands how to cope with health. He knows health. He knows nutrition. He does eat the right way. He lived a good life. if that wasn't of that lawnmower accident, he would have been probably still be here with us. Yep.
Yeah, I gave him an award at one of my contests when he was in his 80s, and man, he didn't look old at all. He was a big guy, looked so healthy,
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. I didn't see Bill for a while. Right away, when I looked at him, one of the show here in LA, he goes, Samir. He called me from the crowd, like, what? Like, man, he acted like someone was in 50.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. It's crazy to see all these guys dropping right before your eyes, Sean.
Yeah, it's sad.
I witnessed it all, from Joe Gold to Weider, Giuliani, Zabel Kozowski, and the list is big, so.
Yeah.
It's sad. And you know what? Yesterday was Chris Dickerson would be already 5 years since he passed away.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah.
Can you believe that? Yesterday was like the 5 years anniversary since he died.
Wow.
Rest in peace. Yep. C'est la vie.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up this show, and then we'll probably be back in another week or so and talk about the Detroit show.
Sounds good.
And then we'll preview the Pittsburgh show as well.
All right. Wait. We're good chatting with you guys, as always.
Yeah, it's always awesome.
All right, guys. Keep it old school.